First of all, thank you for the applause. I mean, I know you guys are excited to see her. I didn't know you guys would be excited to see me too, but thank you. Before I get started, I want to bring up a good friend of mine and also someone that's for Hillary as well, my good friend J.R. Smith. And his beautiful daughter, Demi. So guys, you guys know why I'm here, and the reason why I'm here is the number one main reason I'm here because of Hillary and what she believes in. I want people to understand, now I grew up in the inner city and I know the whole notion of getting out and voting. And I was one of those kids and I was around a community that was like, our vote doesn't matter. But it really does. It really, really does. We have to get out and make sure we vote. We have to get out and be knowledgeable about what's going on, about what we see that our future entails, and this woman right here has the brightest future for our world. The next thing that I love most importantly is the fact that with my foundation and my inner city kids is giving my kids an opportunity to feel like they are important. And thank you. With my foundation, giving kids the notion that someone care about them, that what they dream about, that someone like myself and JR and President Hillary Clinton can make their dreams become a reality is very important to me, and I believe that this woman right here could continue that. So, as much as you guys would love to hear from me, I would much rather love to hear from our next president, Miss Hillary Clinton. All yours.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. So much. It is great to be back in Cleveland. I am thrilled to see all of you. I have to really thank LeBron, what he does on the basketball court. You all know it makes him so special. It makes him a champion. But I am just as impressed as I have told him about what he does off the court. Because what he does off the court is to care for every child as though that child were his own. He has been so committed through the LeBron family, the LeBron James Family Foundation. He's using the national platform he earned to advocate for children everywhere, especially right here in Ohio. And it was an extra special treat to have J.R. Smith here as well. I can't tell you how exciting it is for me to have LeBron and J.R. part of the team that's going to take us to the White House starting on Tuesday. I also have to thank a lot of the elected officials that I've worked with, that I have such high regard for. Let me thank your Senator Sherrod Brown. Let me thank your amazing, absolutely indefatigable Congresswoman Marcia Fudge. Let me thank your county executive, Armand Budish. And let me thank and hope you will vote for your former governor, Ted Strickland, to be your next senator. I want to thank the DJ, Steph Floss, for his musical performance. And I want to thank a very special young man, Yusuf Salam, who was out here a young man who has turned what was a very bitter and unjust experience into an opportunity to try to help lift others up. Now, I was thrilled to be here on Friday night with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Beyonce even had her dancers in blue pantsuits, which I love. But what was most important was how Beyonce and Jay-Z talked about what this election means for their daughter and for all of our daughters and sons. And that's why I am so grateful to them as well as to LeBron, because this election really is about the future, and it's about your kids and grandkids and every child in this country that we hope will have their own shot at the American dream. They may not all become champion basketball players, but everybody should have the right to go as far as their hard work and talent will take them in America. So let me ask you this, are you ready to vote? Are you ready to volunteer for the next few days? Are you ready to choose our next president? Well, I think by now you know the choice could not be any clearer. It really is a choice between division or unity, between an economy that works for everyone or one that is stacked for those at the top, between strong, steady leadership or a loose cannon. And as you think about this choice, I want you to know where I am coming from, because what I want to do as your president is really to build on and continue what I've done my entire life. Fighting for kids and families, standing up for our country. If you elect me on Tuesday, that's what I will do every day as your president. Because from the start, our campaign has been focused on you. You know, I have now spoken in front of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people in small groups and big events. And what I try to do while I'm up here speaking is to really look at the faces of the people in front of me. Because I don't know your dreams, I don't know your struggles, but I want so much to convey to you that I will be on your side. I will fight for you, fight for your families, fight for your futures. I want us to do all we can to help you get ahead and stay ahead. And my vision is very different from my opponents. Look, we know enough about what he says and what he's done. You don't need to go through the litany of all the people he's insulted and demeaned. But the bottom line is, his vision of America is so dark and divisive. It's not the America that I see as I travel around our country. I want us to have a vision that is hopeful, optimistic, and unified about what we can do together to make sure America's best years are ahead of us. I love our country and I believe in our people. And I will never, ever quit on you, no matter what. Now, that is not to say we don't have our challenges. Of course we do. We're just human beings. But boy, we have so many assets. We have so many opportunities. And never forget, America is great because America is good. And if we act like that, we lift each other up instead of tearing each other down, we can be even greater. We've come through some tough economic times, and lots is changing in our country. There are powerful forces inside and outside of America that do threaten to pull us apart. And we've arrived at a moment of reckoning in this election. Our core values as Americans are being tested. I think of all the people I've met across the country in this campaign, I've heard some really, really sad stories. You know, when you run for president, or at least for me, The moments that stand out are about somebody grabbing my hand. I'll be in a coffee shop or maybe shaking hands on a rope line, and somebody will grab my hand and they will share a really personal feeling or experience with me. A lot of times it's about problems or troubles in their families. And I feel like they are entrusting me with this really important piece of their lives. I walk away from that motivated, but I also walk away confident. My faith in our future has never been stronger. And I know if we come together, not just to win the election, that's just the beginning, but then to work together. There is something for every one of us to do in our own lives, our families, our neighborhoods, and communities. I want an America where everyone has a place, where everyone's included. And you know, I know there's a lot of frustration and even anger in this election season. I see it, I hear it. Sometimes, you know, I'm the subject of it. I get it. But anger is not a plan. Anger is not going to get us new jobs with rising incomes that will create a strong, thriving middle class. I believe that we're going to grow this economy. We're going to grow it from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. That is what my opponent offers. And it might work for him, right? It might. But it's not going to work for the vast majority of working Americans. That's why I want us to have a big infrastructure jobs program. There is so much work to be done. Good, honest, honorable, dignified work. Our roads, our bridges, our ports, our airports, our tunnels, our water systems. And these are jobs that can't be exported. They've got to be done right here in Cleveland, in Youngstown, in Dayton, in Akron, in Columbus, in Cincinnati. And we're going to bring back advanced manufacturing to Ohio and elsewhere in our country. Now, some people, when I say this, they kind of, you know, look at me like, well, that's not going to happen. It is going to happen. And I'll tell you, two of my strongest allies are going to be Sherrod Brown and Marcia Fudge, and I hope Ted Strickland when he gets to Washington. People say to me all the time, well, how are you going to get anything done? Won't there be gridlock? There will only be gridlock if people that are elected to represent you don't want to help you. It's not complicated, my friends. If they want to keep helping the wealthy, the powerful, and the well-connected, yeah, then we're going to have gridlock. Because I want jobs with rising incomes. I want people having a better shot at the future. And we are going to have more clean, renewable energy jobs to combat climate change and put Americans to work. To be the best president small business has ever had, because that's where most of the new jobs will come from. And once we get these new jobs and we start producing more things in America, I want people to buy those things in America. You know, any of you see the debates? You know, in that last debate, I pointed out that Donald Trump has bought Chinese steel to build his last two buildings. All the while, he's been running around Ohio talking about what a great advocate he's going to be for working people. He didn't have to buy Chinese steel. He didn't have to help employ Chinese steel workers. He could have bought good American steel made by American steel workers. So don't just watch what we say, watch what we've done for the last 30 years and whose side we've bet on. And we're going to make this economy fairer. Look, I really believe in hard work. That's how I was raised. That's the kind of family I came from. So I think everybody has to work. Everybody who can needs to work. But I do think we need to raise the national minimum wage, because if you work full time, you shouldn't still be in poverty. And I also think if you're working, you ought to get paid fairly, which is why we need to guarantee equal pay for women's work. And, you know, this is not a woman's issue. This is a family issue. Because if you've got a mother, a wife, a sister, or a daughter working, you don't want her shortchanged. And we need to start recognizing that a lot of the costs that families are facing now are really burdensome. I want to get child care affordable, right? Do you know, in a lot of states right now, good child care costs as much or more than in-state college tuition. That's crazy. Who could afford that? And I want us to have paid family leave, so if you get sick, or your spouse is sick, or your parent is sick, or your child is sick, or you bring a newborn home. Now, you know, I don't think these are luxuries anymore. I think these are all about rebuilding the American middle class. I believe it's all about respecting work, providing enough jobs for people to have a good future, getting incomes rising, making it work for everybody. And I have said I will pay for everything I'm proposing without adding a penny to the national debt, right? And that is in very stark contrast to my opponent, because what I've said is I am not raising taxes on the middle class. Anybody making less than $250,000 a year is not going to have any tax increase while I am president. But I am going where the money is, and the money is with the wealthy and corporations, because they've done really well in the last 15 years. And they should pay their fair share to support our country. And again, people say to me, well, how are you ever going to get that through Congress? Well, I'll tell you, I think it's pretty simple. I'm going to look at all the people who would be helped by everything I've just said, the new jobs and the rest of it, and I'm going to compare it to the very few people in every congressional district who would have their taxes raised. And I'm going to say, whose side are you on, Mr. or Madam Congresswoman? Are you supporting the 5 people in your district who will have their taxes raised, or are you supporting the 500,000 people who will be benefited by what we're going to do together? And another big barrier that we've got to knock down is making college affordable for every single person. It's outrageous. I meet people across America who couldn't afford to start college, could not afford to stay, and never graduated, and still have debt. Don't have a degree, but they got debt. That's crazy. And I see some people pointing to themselves. Yeah, I got to tell you, look, I believe that education is an investment. That's why I want good schools with good teachers in every zip code in America. That's why I want to get more technical education back into high schools, because I think there are a lot of great jobs waiting to be done by people who have the skills from high school or community college or apprenticeship programs. I'm going to do everything I can to lift up and honor hard work. When somebody can make something, when somebody is a machinist or a tool and die maker or a carpenter or even a computer coder, that may not at all require a 4-year college education. And it's about time we honored all work in America and made all work pay for everybody. But for people who want to go to college, we're going to make it easier. I want every public college and university to be tuition free for families making less than $125,000 a year. And debt free for everybody else, because this should be seen as an investment. And if you are struggling with student debt, We've got a plan to ease that burden, get the costs down, get the interest rates down, get it paid off much faster. You see, I really believe that every single person should be able to go as far as you're willing to work for it and not have your dreams dashed while you're a child or a teenager or a young adult. Elections are about the future, so let's lift up the young people of America. And that includes, let's dismantle the so-called school-to-prison pipeline and replace it with a cradle-to-college pipeline. We have a lot of work to do. I've laid out a full agenda. Tim Kaine, my running mate, and I, we've written a book called Stronger Together. And in it tells you everything we want to try to do. And I got to tell you, I think it's important you know what we want to do. It shouldn't just be an election about words. It should be about plans and policies so that you can judge and say, what will help me? Like, for example, on college, you can go to my website, HillaryClinton.com, right now, HillaryClinton.com/calculator. And you can see how much money you and your family would save under my plan. I want to be real specific. I want to rebuild confidence in what we can do together. It's not good for anybody that our democracy and our country are viewed so suspiciously, without confidence. That is how we govern ourselves. So we have to work together. But I can't do any of this if you don't vote. Now, so far, 1.6 million people in Ohio have voted. But we got work to do. So please, you've got to get out. You've got to get to the polls. You've got to take people to the polls. Nobody should sit this one out. You can go to iwillvote.com to find out what your polling place is, or you can volunteer to help us these next few days. You can text JOIN, J-O-I-N, to 47246. And I'm really ready to get to work for you. This is about what we can do together. It's about the kind of future we can create and build. And it is an opportunity for all of us to be invested in a better, fairer, stronger America. I want us to do this together. I really do believe my slogan, Stronger Together. So I hope Ohio will turn out in the biggest recorded vote in history on Tuesday. And we will together prove once and for all that love trumps hate. Thank you all very